uploaded since, was it even last year actually? I don't even know anymore. Multiple things have happened. College, right? Wow, college. The major that I'm in, I have to take a lot more math classes than I thought that I would, so I think you understand maybe why, you know, there wasn't a motivation to make videos. And then also, if you can hear my fan going, it's an air conditioner because it's already 100 degrees where I am in May. So that's really cool. And then also, another update, new bedding, because I also got a new bed and bed frame for Christmas. So that's really cool. So, am I going to be consistent with making videos again? Probably not. Probably not. I'm taking a summer class, so we will genuinely see whether or not I actually make any videos, because I do this for fun, right? I'm not sitting here being like, oh, like, I need to get a base so that I can start earning money on my YouTube videos. Like, that would be nice to do that, but that's not the reason I'm here. I like talking about books. I like sharing stuff about books because I like, you know, talking with other people about those things, and just also, like, I love I love watching this kind of content, and so, you know, why not create some, even though that it's gonna be very bad quality. So if you're expecting, like, you know, good quality or good book reviews, this is not the place. So, like I already said, it's May, so we're already 5 months into the year, and I have finished 19 books. Don't you love how I was like, oh yeah, I'm like math classes, I'm so busy, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I finished 19 books, by the way. I've been reading short, fun books because my reading motivation and motivation in general is gone, has been gone. I have not, nothing. So I literally a couple days ago finished my semester. I think I'll make like a little thing of like all the books that I've read so far, maybe post that or put it in here, because I hate filming and editing, or not filming, but I hate editing like recap videos. So that'll be fun. But first thing that we should talk about, I listened to the audiobook of Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, and I ended up really enjoying that. That was also on my 26 for 26, which, by the way, 13 books deep into that, so I'm literally halfway through that. But I'm currently listening to the second book, which is Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Worlds, I believe is the full title, and I'm 64% through the audiobook of that, because basically all I've been doing since my break is cleaning stuff, because guess what? Didn't have time to do that before, and now you gotta do those things, because otherwise your mental health will be horrendous. It's not as if my dog vomited on my comforter the day after I washed it. No, that didn't happen. Second thing is that I have started The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I've heard his last name before, but I can't remember what it is. And I am, 134 pages in, and this is over 700 pages. I'm going to be very honest with you, I don't think this was the right time to pick this up. I'm enjoying it, and I was craving a fantasy when I picked this up, but it's been a minute since I've read like a high fantasy thing, and this is being told from like the third perspective, like outside of it, and then but it's also being told in first perspective sometimes. Listen, I don't know, but the only thing right now is that we're 100 pages deep and we're still very much in the introductory part of this dude's story. Like we've learned through him kind of what's happened, but we're not into anything that's like super like, oh my gosh, I have to keep reading, like pulled me super in. That being said though, the premise is very interesting and I can already see why people absolutely adore this. Like, the writing is very good and you have a very complex and interesting character who is telling the story, because basically we find both, I believe is the pronunciation for it, we find him in a bar in this kind of, not necessarily foreign land, but like far away in this kind of smaller town community running a bar, and we kind of find out that he is actually like Kavath the Bloodless. Like, he has this whole history of being this like ruthless kind of person, of being this like incredibly smart, incredibly talented with the magic within this world, which we haven't fully explored yet. And on the back of this, I remember reading this and being like, that slaps. Also, it is semi a brick. It is semi a brick. Like, it can open pretty well. So yeah, do you see the size of the text on this? You see that? So obviously, with the kind of slump that I'm in, this is going to take me a minute to read. I think I started this 3 days ago and I'm not even like 150 pages deep in this. But anyways, so we also have a character, the chronicler. Oh my gosh, I can't speak. But he basically goes around and writes the stories of all of these legends, or just, you know, basically takes all of these stories and, you know, helps keep them known and stuff. And so he's come to Quoth and he's been like, okay, tell me your story. And now it's kind of like, okay, it'll take a while, but, you know, come sit here. I did get the second book within this, and that one's over 1,000 pages. So I'm very interested in what happens in this for there to be a second book. I don't know whether or not that follows somebody else or not. I am enjoying this. And then the Emily Wilde book, I'm enjoying that, but it definitely has some of the tropes that I don't love. Because we're going on another adventure, right? And then I just wish that there were certain relationships within that, a very specific one between two people that was maybe played out a little bit more and stuff, because I know that there's going to be a third book, and like, I don't mind them having the relationship that they do within the third book, but I'm also like, kind of wish that, you know, it was a little bit more, because their banter is very good. And then there's also a character that's there that I don't really like, so yeah, but I'm expecting, because I'm 64% of the way through that, I'm expecting for the ending to be insane because of what we've already got. Like, the adventure is incredibly interesting and well done, so I'm enjoying that. But anyways, yeah, I've rambled enough, so let's get into reading, I guess. I just realized that. So it's been like a week. I think I last talked to you on Sunday or Monday. It's now Saturday. And I finished a book and have not made much progress in another. So, first things first, I was talking about, oh, I have a nice long break. I don't. I start my summer class in 3 days from now, actually. It's the 26th that it starts. For some reason, I thought that it started in June on the 26th, but no. I have a break of like 18 days, which is still pretty good, but it's like, I don't know, I was expecting for it to be longer than that. But thankfully, once the summer class is done, there is a longer break in between that and when the fall semester starts, thankfully. And so I'm taking a humanities class, and we're doing United States literature and film, contemporary literature and film. So I'm interested in that. I just know that it's going to be a lot because it's a summer class, so it's only 8 weeks instead of the regular 16. So it's going to be a lot. But it's only one class, so I'm not saying that it's going to be easy because I don't think it will be, but it's like, I don't know. I'm just hoping that it's not overwhelming. I finished Molly Wild's maps of the other worlds. So I think kind of the same thing still stands, where I kind of wish that the relationship was drawn out a little bit more within it. And I also kind of wish that there was more exploration and like depth to the characters, because that's not saying that there isn't any, there is, but I kind of wish that we knew a lot more about both of their pasts, because it's mostly in like sparse pieces that you know about that. And that's not me being like, oh, like I don't connect to the characters or I don't care about the romance. I do for both of those. I think that it's well done for both of that. I just wish that it was like, I don't know, longer and more exploration of those kinds of topics. I gave it 4 stars, by the way. So that's kind of what I was wishing for with that. But I mean, I enjoyed the series. I enjoy the audiobooks. I think the narrator, I don't know the narrator's name, but I think she's really good at what she does. She reads it in kind of the whimsical tone that I think it deserves, like the kind of sarcastic, whimsical tone that is very heavy within these books, especially because, you know, we're following, even though it's in a fantasy world, we're following a lot of British people. So that's that book. I finished that and enjoyed it. And then this book, The Name of the Wind, I got the audiobook for this. And you wanna know how much further I got within this? Like 30 pages. Listen, I think what I've discovered is that my brain is rotted, because I used to just pick up books like this all the time and just kind of soar through them. I think a part of my brain has rotted away that used to do that, and I think that's because I keep reading short, like really fun books, which there's nothing bad about that, like at all. And not saying that these fantasy books aren't fun, but it's like my brain has such a hard time with how long we're building up to things, and it's not even, you know, we're getting close to 200 pages and we haven't, you know, really gotten there. And I'm betting that the explanation of like because he's retelling his story, so I'm betting the explanation of him as a kid not only gives him more depth but also more understanding of what his character is going to be doing. But my brain is just like, I want some sort of action. I want to learn more about the magic of this world. I want to, like, you know, see more things, because, you know, I know that it's an epic fantasy and I know that we're gonna get that later, but I'm just being so impatient currently. And also I just keep putting this off because it's like, I think it's the size of the writing and just like also because it is taking a slower manner that I am just like struggling a little bit to get into it. That's not this book's fault. It's great writing, and I think that we're gonna have a very good character exploration, which I always do appreciate, because it's like when I go into a book and I'm reading about them for this long, I want to care about them. I want to know what motivates them, why they're doing certain things, and I think that this is going to do a really good job of it. And I keep being like, oh, do I want to softy enough it? Because I still want to read it really bad. It's just I'm not making my way through it like I was hoping I would. So that kind of sucks. But overall, I still think that this is really good. It's just I need to figure out my rotted brains patient issue, because I know the second that this, like, we start getting into further into the book and get more action and kind of exploration, I know that I'm gonna be hooked, because that's usually what happens. I think that was one of my favorite things about the Stormlight Archives by Brandon Sanderson, or just any of his books, is that It does take a minute to get into the characters and you are exploring them throughout a lot of books, but the magic system is like front and center. You kind of learn about it like instantly, and of course you still learn more about it throughout the books, but it's kind of like, oh, okay, like this, you're learning it along with the characters, or there's already presentations of it throughout other things. Like it's one of those things that it's like, oh, okay, like I'm in for this because this is interesting. So far we have hints of the magic system and kind of what certain things could possibly do, but it's not like set up to the full range where it's used in action, or it's, you know, oh, this is how you can do it with this and all that. So very interested in that. This though, because I was listening to it on a walk last night, and there was like the saddest part because I just got to chapter 23. So if you know chapter 22, 21, I was like, this is such a sad story. Like it's, I think from like chapter 18, it's just been so sad. But again, it's an epic fantasy. Of course they have to have a very dark like background. The things that I have actually been reading for the most part is, okay. Let me remember the title. The Ornithologist's Field Guide to Dating by India Holton. I started reading because, like I said, wanted quick, fun something. This is delivering. One thing that I have kind of issues with about standalone stuff is because it's a standalone, obviously you want to get the story like very quickly, you want to sell the romance, but a lot of times that has been through like kind of instant attraction, not instant like love, but like instant attraction of like, well, like, oh, because like from the jump, one of our male characters like, oh yeah, she's pretty, like he thought that the first time he ever saw her. And then there's like other things where but I really love it because there's still tension throughout this, even though it's been like, oh, like they're kissing and stuff, because it has one of those tropes where it's like anytime they're gonna do anything they get interrupted. And it's also just an insane plot because in this world you have like magic birds that they're kind of hunting after, and we have this whole setup of that field wanting to get more attention. So there's these like press people being like, oh, like, you know, we'll help you, and then they kind of set up a romance between our two characters and are selling it based off of that, being like, oh, people want to go here because this dude's attractive and there's also this romance. So it's like, it's really funny, and just kind of the way that they keep getting interrupted but there's still tension and all of this stuff, and like it's still really fun and I'm still really enjoying it. So that's nice. I think I'm like 60 something% of the way through, close to 70% of the way through it. So it's like 363-ish pages. So I think, yeah, I have less than 100 pages. So I'm hoping to finish this soon. And then the thing that came in from my library was the third book in the Saints of Steel series. I forget what that is. It Paladin's Faith or is it Paladin's Strength? Want to say hi to the people? No. So yeah, Saint of Steel third book. The whole series is on my 26 for 26. So was Sword Heart, which I have read, which is really funny because I was just kind of indifferent to Kingfisher. Like I had read, oh, what is that book called? It's the short that's basically a retelling of the House of Umber. I'm stupid, I don't know, but I liked that. I liked that horror. And then I read another one that I didn't really like, but it's really funny because her romanices are really good. And then now I'm also interested because I think that they're technically a prequel, but like the Clockwork Boys series by her, I think it's a duology actually, because I like the world that we're in and I'm very interested in it. So after I finish that, the Ornithologist book by India Holton, but I'm gonna read that, and it's really funny because I'm reading two like romanices back to back. But listen, I'm gonna read stuff that I find fun and enjoy. So like anyways, yeah, let's get back to reading. It's much darker in here than I thought. It's like 6 p.m. It's been another week. Guess what? So, started my first week of my summer class. Pretty chill. Just like most first weeks are. Yeah, I basically finished every single assignment within the first day on Monday. So yeah, that was chill. He hasn't opened up the second like module, so I haven't been able to gauge what I have to do for the next week. But yeah, it's basically like you're gonna have to watch a movie or like read something and then do a full report on it each week, which I know for a lot of people they're like, that's what I do in college for different classes, and I'm like, good to you. But anyways, so this is Hey Bear. See your little ears? Yes. So many things. Okay, so did I say that I finished the ornithologist's field guide to dating? Did I? I think I gave it like 3 stars. Enjoyed it, but yeah, the ending wasn't positive to me. It just felt like very, it's not a thing of like, oh, it's improbable because everything is possible within a book's universe, but it was like somewhat of like a very weird ending in my eyes. But I think that's just because I'm like so used to like crazy endings whenever I read like romance and stuff. Although a lot of times they do tend to have some sort of like convenience to them, because obviously if it's not a series involving those 2 characters over it, then you want to be able to wrap it up. And sometimes they don't give good like plot narratives and stuff that make it feel like that it's not like, I don't know, my brain's not working, but it makes it feel like it's very artificial and not what would actually happen in that world. But anyways, you want to know something else? I finished another book. I don't know what happens, but for some reason whenever I'm on a break and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna read a ton, read maybe 1 book. Whenever I'm doing school, literally I had my finals. I had my midterm during my birthday. You know what? I read 5 books in March. God, what's happening? Why am I reading? And people are like, oh, you do that to decompress. Yeah, but why am I not doing that on a break? Why am I like not reading? Like, I don't, and it's not like I feel like reading is a chore or anything. It's just for some reason when I'm on a break, I just sit and rot. I don't read. I don't use my brain in any capacity. So anyways, started and finished the Paladin's Hope, I believe so, which is following Galen and Piper. So if you don't know, Saints of Steel is within this whole universe where gods do actually exist and they choose people, and each god kind of uses the god chosen people for different things. Our group that we've been following throughout this series is called the Saint of Steel. Their god died, so they were berserkers in wars and stuff, and now only a couple of them survived when their god died because they went insane and either killed each other, got killed, or went into comas that they never woke up from. And so we only have like a select amount of characters within this brotherhood, and because of their god being dead and them possibly being a danger to each other or other people, they work under the White Rat, which honestly I love the whole like White Rat like religion, because it's one that they have like lawyers and stuff, and you can consult them on basically anything, and they'll like send protections and stuff for you. And I just love both the bishop and then if you read Swordheart, which is, I think you could technically read it, like you don't have to read it before that. It's just like I haven't read the Clockwork Boys by her, but now I really want to because of the like lore that we're getting within this, because there was a whole battle against these like weird monsters that you had to like burn or pull the demons out so that they would die, because if you chopped off their head, their body would keep going. Like it's insane stuff, and it kind of, we got a lot more lore within this book, the third book. We have seen Piper in the past. We've seen kind of all the paladins, especially within the second book, with Istvan, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He and Galen were traveling together in the last book, and so we kind of discovered that Galen has this kind of sleep disruption thing where he has nightmares, and if you wake him up, he kind of, because he's like, you know, in his head there's like, oh, enemies, stuff is happening in his head. If you wake him up, he's basically in berserker mode and doesn't recognize anybody and will literally go after you, even if, you know, he knows who you are, because he's kind of temporarily blinded by rage in that moment, because the berserker thing is just like, views everybody as an enemy unless it like really knows that it's like somebody else, because they even talk about in a previous book about like how the Saints of Steel would practice against each other after their god died, and they would literally have to be choked out because they became berserkers and stuff. It's all insane. It's all insane. I really love the series, especially this one. I think so far is probably my favorite. The next one sounds very interesting because we have a paladin who's like very serious, very like pompous, and then I believe it's like there's a spy involved in that, and that's going to be his love interest, and they're trying to gain information from each other, so that'll be really fun. I actually don't mind if I pick that up soon, but anyway, so Piper is basically a mortician, but that's not what that's called in this world, and there are bodies that start showing up with this, and there's this Gnoll detective, which are basically like bigger badgers that can somewhat talk English but also have their own language, and this Gnoll, after being told that he shouldn't keep investigating, he gets Galen and Piper, and he goes with them to try and solve this murder that is happening, and these murders that are happening, and kind of whole thing ensues. So the thing that I will say about this, again, this one was 305 pages, 302 pages. So if you want like a slow burn, like over the book kind of thing, and them not to be like already very physically attracted to each other within the first like 100 pages, even 50 pages, then these aren't those books. These are a lot of kind of fun and world expansive narrative stuff, and it's also very nice to see kind of this like whole debate about them becoming berserkers and whether or not they deserve love because they could possibly harm other people and all this stuff, and it's a very good conversation on all of that. And I also feel like the third act breakup in this was justified in the fact that it didn't feel like it was one of those things that was just like, oh, this isn't happening because this thing happened in the world, so now we can't. It's like, no, there's actual like beliefs and stuff that are being held that make it so that they can't, or they believe they can't be together. So it's overall really, really good. And then I started the Blighted Stars. All I know about that is me and Miss Carrie can read. We've had mixed book stuff together. She's I remember one time being like, I'm never gonna read anything from you again, because she said that Five Broken Blades was better than Six of Crows. I think she might have retracted that a little bit after reading the second book, or the first book and the second book back to back. But anyways, I haven't really taken many recommendations from her in the past, but the Blighted Stars, what I'm hearing is basically like a romantasy book, but turn it sci-fi, because there's this heir to this really big family. I don't think it's necessarily a throne, but heir to this really powerful family, and then we have this spy who was going into basically kill him, cause all these disruptions, but now they're stuck on this planet together, and they need each other to be able to get off of this planet, to not be stuck and stranded there. So, I'm very interested in that. I'm also very much in a sci-fi mood as of currently. I haven't read sci-fi in a hot minute. And then also, guess what? I literally made it halfway through this. Are you so proud of me? I have just been playing Hollow Knight while listening to this, and let me tell you, been a good time. I bought Hollow Knight maybe last Christmas, and I was horrible at it, and so I didn't keep it. And then I think I saw something about Silksong, which is the next game in the series, and that this game also hints at within it, which I didn't realize until I got further in, but I figured some of the stuff out. I understand some of the pathing. I defeated a boss. I've gotten better at playing it. I'll still die to just like the bugs in the environment and stuff, and I'll be like, it was incredibly nice to beat the False Knight. And also, insane thing, the little the little head outside of the armor is like, it makes me kind of feel bad because it's so cute. But anyways, I have been enjoying playing that, and then this, I don't know how to feel this. I think maybe it's just the writing style that I'm not necessarily vibing with, or maybe it's the fact that we're still kind of working our way into this and stuff, because there's still stuff on the back of this that we haven't seen yet that sounds incredibly interesting and stuff, and I'm kind of, I don't really know how to feel about this as of right now. So the thing is, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I don't like it right now, so that's gonna be horrible. No, I am interested in finishing this. I also have the second book, so of course I want to finish this. But yeah, so far it's just like, it's an interesting world, it's an interesting power system. We have a very interesting character. How many times am I going to say interesting? We have, like, our character is very unique in certain ways that other, like, epic fantasy main characters are, but is also formulaic in some ways. So it kind of is nice in a way because it's like familiar territory, but it has a little bit added to it. And I'm just kind of waiting for the ball to drop for things to get really crazy, because there's already some stuff that's like, oh, I'm just waiting for this to get absolutely insane, which watching it not do that within this book. But yeah, I'm literally halfway through. I'm on chapter 51, page 364. This is 722 pages, so literally 50% through. So those are all my reading updates, and now all I want to do is sit back, have some old football games on, read, and maybe eat the Ben & Jerry's that's waiting for me in the freezer downstairs. Anyways, let's get back to reading. How shiny I was until I started this clip. So some things have happened since I last talked to you. The main one being I finished a book, so that's really nice. I ended up finishing The Blighted Stars by Megan E. Akiri. I don't know how to pronounce her last name, but I really enjoyed it. I really did, because it's such a good, like, romance intertwined with such a good plot, and if you've ever read the Expanse series, there's a trope in that about, like, basically the main thing that's happening within that, and that's, like, furthering the entire plot for the rest of the series. The, like, main, like, thing that's happening that they're fighting against is somewhat similar to this one, but it's a lot more... I don't... because if I tell you what it is, I believe it's a very big spoiler for this book, because it happens like halfway through that you find this stuff out. So I'm not gonna tell you what it is, even though it's like a trope that I love so much that I know a lot of other people probably don't love, but it is something that I personally really love, and I know that some people don't love it, which is like completely understandable. But like I already said, that we have two people who are coming from like very separate things. So we have our male main character, Tarquin, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He is from one of the Merit families, which is basically like noble families within this, but they control like a huge sector of things that wouldn't be possible without them, and there are multiple families within different sectors of things that do that, and basically they have people underneath them who have kind of no what's the word, not freedom, but like, I'm forgetting the word, but they basically get owned by these people and get reprinted by them, because there's this whole system within this, and it's very like heavy to the plot, that we have these reprinting stations, which basically if you die, you have these fees that you have to pay to go and get reprinted, and if you go and sign up to be a worker for one of these families, like a soldier that goes out in the field with them, you're basically signing up to have those fees either automatically paid, or you'll basically come back out really soon because they need the workers and stuff that you do. So we have that, and then we have Nira Sharp, who used to be Tarquin's father's EX, which is basically just like personal guard, and she became a conservator, which is a person who is fighting against and destroying all of these ships that are owned by Tarquin's families, the Mecators, I believe is how you pronounce it, and those have something on them called the Shroud, which Nira believes is the reason that all of these worlds are dying and becoming uninhabitable. So she also, fun fact, her planet that she lived on died because of that, so it's very personal to her. So she kind of betrays Tarquin's family, and Tarquin ends up testifying against her, basically being like, no, this mining thing that we're doing, because it's for this, they're using the Shroud for this like material that basically powers everything. And so he goes, testifies against her, and then now he is on an expedition trying to prove her wrong, basically trying to make it so that they have evidence that this using the Shroud is safe in mining. And so they get to this planet, but basically all hell breaks loose is the thing that happens, and Nira is printed in a body that's very similar to hers but isn't her, and we kind of go from there, because we watch this very like powerful dude that's never really had a hard day's work in his life go up against all of these challenges, while Nira like wants to kill him but also wants to see like, or have him confess and apologize for putting her into because what they call icing a person is like basically having their reprint, making it so that they can't get reprinted anywhere else, like their neural map can't be picked up by somebody else and printed somewhere else. So that's fun. But I just remembered that I wrote something in my notes, which is that to me they have the same energy as Bolt and Max from the movie Bolt, which I haven't seen in forever, but they give off that vibe so much to me. And Tarquin is Bolt, and then Nira is Max. Like, that's what they give to me, because Tarquin is definitely a lot more of like an optimistic, like, oh, everything's gonna go right in the world, because he's had so much go right for him in his life, because he's a noble and has a family with a good amount of money. And then obviously Nira is a pessimistic character and believes that like everybody else that's contributing to this is horrible and all that stuff. So they get stranded, basically, is what happens. And so you kind of watch their relationship develop while they don't know what to think about each other or who each other really is. So it's so good. I love this kind of stuff so much. But that being said, I have also made it to page 576 or 67. I've forgotten of the name of the wind. I almost just said Wind and Truth. That's not what I'm reading. So what is funny to me is we've obviously made a lot of progress within that book, and there's like certain character developments and new characters coming in and all that, but I don't necessarily find it incredibly interesting, if I'm going to be honest. And I thought this was going to be kind of a lot more than it was. I imagine like the next 200 pages, actually less than that, the next 200, like 100 something pages that I have left in this book, I'm going to probably turn around and be like, oh my gosh, that was incredible. But current me right now is interested in the story, likes the explanations of the magic systems, likes likes a lot of the characters and the complexity and all that to them. And I also do like our main character, Kvothe, a lot. I think that Patrick has done a very good job of kind of expanding and talking about him, giving him this kind of balance of ruthlessness with humor, and kind of just him being insanely knowledgeable, like many, main characters are in fantasy books. But I am enjoying that. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, because there's not the full action, that I'm not interested. Like, I don't need action every second to be interested. But yeah, it's just very funny because the back of the book talks about like a lot of different action things, and I'm betting that we're getting there. It's just like we haven't yet. So the things that I've been expecting haven't been met yet, which, not a bad thing. I'm still enjoying the story, and I'm also still playing Hollow Knight while I do that. And by the way, still suck at it. I beat one boss, or I beat like a couple of them, but those I don't believe were like actual bosses. The only one that I think is actually one is the False Knight, which I've beaten. Literally nothing else. I'm not good at the game, honestly, and I know that there's like probably videos and stuff that I can watch. I'm not good at video gaming unless it's like Minecraft and stuff like that. But if you give me a combat game for some reason, I'm very bad at it. But anyways, this vlog has been going on for like 4 weeks. And I've now read 4 books within this. So I'm gonna end this here, because otherwise this is gonna go on forever. Don't want that. But overall, still really good reading month with May and now going into June. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed watching this. And if you didn't, don't tell me. But yeah, I've had fun with a lot of the reads, and I am also really excited to pick up some of the other physical books that I currently have. So you will probably be seeing those within the next reading vlog. So Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe and like the video. Comment down if you've read any of these other books that I've read, or if you have any suggestions for books. And yeah, thank you for watching.